Hey. This song is by Afrobeat, excuse me, and it's called Joanna. So yeah, I had to get some up-tempo music because it's 4 a.m. here in Tanzania. And whew, I'm hanging in there, y'all. But I am committed to bringing you all these Wind Down Wednesdays with my lady of the week. Ooh, let's see who's coming in. Hello, Mom. Oh, of course you'd be the first one in here. I don't even know. What's 8 o'clock your time, or almost 8 o'clock your time. It is almost 4 a.m. here in Tanzania. All right, y'all, come on in. So this week's Wind Down Wednesday is about ageism in Hollywood. It's a conversation that needs to be had. Seems like, after you reach a certain age, they kind of put you out to pasture. And so my lady of the week is Johari Johnson. She's an actor, director, producer. She does it all. And she's been in the game for many, many years. I would show you all outside, but as you can see, it is pitch black dark out there, so not much to see. But we are having an amazing time here. Tanzania is nothing that I expected. It's just been an incredible experience, and we're having a really, really good time. So obviously, I didn't have my makeup artist this week, but Alex, I think I did a good job. And Lanisha, this hair right here, this is my makeshift do, because this African heat is something else. All right, y'all, it's time to get started. Make sure you have your glass so we can toast to another Wind Down Wednesday with my lady of the week. And look, this is water because, yes, I am in a Muslim country. It's 4 o'clock in the morning and there was no alcohol to be had. So cheers, guys. All right, we're going to bring Miss Johari Johnson in here so we can get this started. Hey, everybody. All right, come on in here, Miss Johari. Let's get this started. Ooh, hey, it's you. Hi, Johari.
I think I'm a little close there. How you doing, baby?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Back at you. I did not.
As
I knew
always.
that you were going to be gorgeous. I didn't know what backdrop I was going to be seeing. I didn't know if giraffes were going to be going by or something like that.
Look,
I saw you complaining about the lazy lion. I didn't know if that was going to be your pet.
Johari,
right next to you.
Listen, that safari, girl. Oh my God. First of all, it was so hot. Okay.
Yeah.
This African heat is like
it's a whole different level.
It's a whole different level. I said, this heat is so disrespectful. It's not even funny. But we had a great time. We managed. But I quickly found out that I'm not about this life. But
you're like, it's good to visit, but you're not going to stay.
It's good to visit. I love the people. Love everything about Tanzania. But whoo, child, this is a whole different set of circumstances over here. So, but anywho, okay. So before we get started, don't know if you have your glass of wine.
Well, it's not wine. I see that you have water.
Yes.
I have a glass of liquid vitamins.
Liquid vitamins. Okay.
I chilled on the drinking a little bit. So, this is what we're doing here. Here's a very hydrated.
There you go. Look, I have water because, as I said, this is a Muslim country. It's 4 a.m. and they're not serving anybody any alcohol right now. So, look, clink, 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 clink. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, Ms. Johari, first of all, thank you so much for agreeing to do this live with me.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're super, super busy. So I, again, like I said, just want to say thank you. I so appreciate you being here. So before we get started, why don't you tell everybody who you are and where you're from?
Okay, well, I am Johari Johnson. I'm an actress, a writer. I direct from time to time. I'm a content creator. I'm originally from Chicago. Acting is my passion. I've been fortunate enough to have many national commercials, been on many sitcoms, lots of television shows, and I'm very blessed to be able to do what I love out here in Los Angeles. And I just wanted to say something. I don't know if the people out there know how long we have known each other. I usually, just as a habit, I don't think too much about the past. And I'm really horrible with math, so I can't tell you exactly how many years it has been.
But it's been some years. Yeah. I
don't
think we need to give an actual number, Johari.
But I pulled something down from the wall, and I almost took half the wall off with it. But this is back in the day when I was doing my time impression. Remember, that's
Yes. But why do I have the same company? Who did yours? Is that Dave Chapman? Who's that?
This is Westside Dennis Trackman. I don't even think he's around, girl. This is back in the day. Look, this is black and white. We don't even do black and whites anymore.
But I have that same contact sheet. That is hilarious. Yes, we've known each other for ages. But but it's so interesting. Look, Johari, I was saying, I came to Los Angeles the first time and, wanted to get into the industry or whatever. But for me, I quickly found out that I don't know that I was necessarily cut out for the rejection that often comes along, right? Yeah. It got to a point where I thought my mother renamed me with the middle name of No, because that's how much I heard no. And so you have to be, built a certain way for this life. So tell me something. First of all, how did you get into acting? And secondly, what has sustained you through the years to continue doing it?
Well, I think part of me being an actor is the fact that I was an only child. And there was a lot of focus put on me anyway. And I kind of felt like everyone was looking at me anyway, might as well perform. And my parents kind of got me into the arts. They let me explore. I went to the Art Institute of Chicago. I tried my hand at, all sorts of mediums, including acting and dance and all that kind of stuff. And acting is what really stuck for me. That's my first love. And so I started out, like, I did my first commercial when I was like 5 years old. And I remember, and when the director came and they sat in my dad's studio and he just came and sat with me and talked to me. And I did my Howard Cosell impression, like a little girl, and like they shot it in my bedroom. And I remember like the people coming, everyone being so nice and them setting up cameras and everything and us going to lunch. And I was just, I was hooked at 5. So, it's something that I've always done. And it's what I feel most comfortable doing. As far as what has kept me in the business and having longevity, I will say something that was told to me as a young actress. And I'll say that to any sort of person who's thinking about getting into the business. And it seems kind of negative at first, but someone told me, if you can do anything else and be happy, do that.
Yeah.
Because there are all kinds of fairy tales out there. We see all the glitz, all the glamour. Even today, just in my video, whatever popped up, there were these actors talking about how they got discovered. And I swear the people were like, well, I was waiting tables.
Or I came to Los Angeles with $7. Right.
And, and then I was a star. And, and that might happen. I'm not saying that cannot happen. But you have to be prepared for the sacrifices that you have to make. There are some wonderful things, and then there are some, bumpy roads. Sometimes you're working, sometimes you're not. And this is for actors, writers, anyone who's going into the creative field.
Right.
I believe that you have to have a passion for it. I believe it should be a calling. Not that you shouldn't go in and get your feet wet. Like you went in there, you got your feet wet, you tried it and everything like that. And you're like,
you have to be
maybe
cut
not
out
your
for it.
life's work.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Right. Yeah. You definitely have to you have to be cut out for it. And to your point, you have to be passionate about it. And I think that's probably what I lacked when I was trying. It was that passion, because I went to a performing arts high school, but I was a dancer, and you had to minor in one of the other arts, and I minored in acting. So, you're like, okay, I can do this. But you definitely have to have that passion that you're talking about in order to keep doing it. Because if you're just in it for, I just want to be on TV and this seems nice, you're going to be let down, right?
To sustain you, and especially, if you come out into the bigger markets, if you're in Los Angeles, if you're in New York, you know how much it costs.
Absolutely.
To be out here. I mean,
Absolutely.
Atlanta has a large market and everything like that, but that's getting more expensive. It's, like, you have to have the passion to keep going,
Right.
Yeah.
And the competition. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, what kind of, and people will, you will find people competing with you. I find it best to compete with yourself.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. You can only do better than you last did. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have to, I find that pushing myself, making myself grow as an artist, that's the most important thing. Trying to compete with somebody else, what is for you is for you. But you have to be ready for people to play mind games. I've had the experience, like being in the bathroom somewhere, just going to like go check hair and makeup and go out, and people just trying to get in your head. It's a whole thing.
You know what I always found interesting? When you're at an audition, there's always the one person who's like the loudest in the room. They come in and they have to let everybody know, I've arrived. And you're like, really? Is it that serious? So that whole getting into your head, that I think, like you said, those are people that actually come there and they're like, okay, let me see, whose head I can,
who I can needle. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know how they prepare their. I mean, maybe they just know their stuff backwards and forwards, and they have time to do that. But I learned as a young actress with a coach, and I remember this was back in Chicago at the Center Theater. I don't think it exists anymore. But Dan, before we, we're gonna go out into the world and audition and whatnot, he had us do like a mock, audition casting call. And I came in and I did my thing, la la la. And he afterwards he was like, I saw you in the casting room and you were talking. Sit down and prepare. That's what you focus on. That was, and I wasn't trying to get anyone said. I was just like, talking to my friends and whatnot. And he was like, no,
that's not it.
Do your work. Focus on your work. Yeah.
Okay, so the name of this live is Ageism in Hollywood. Yeah. So I kind of want to dive into that. There's a study that said actors in their 20s, women get 80% of the leading roles. In their 30s, they get 40% of the leading roles. And by the time they reach the age of 40, they get 20% of the leading roles. So clearly, Hollywood has an issue with ageism. Have you experienced any of that? And if so, how do you work around it?
Well, I myself personally have a little bit of a cushion with that, only because I tend to be cast as an alpha female. I tend to get cast as a woman with a job, a doctor, a lawyer, a cop, an executive. Right. So I have yet to age out of those roles. Right now, they still might be casting, like the hotshot surgeon who's 27, we know that doesn't really happen. That comes with age and experience and everything like that.
Right.
But talking to some of my fellow actresses, absolutely. Like if I had a different sort of brand, if I was like the girl next door, if that's what I always played, you know, or the young mom, what do I pivot to? There's not very much, you know what I mean? A lot of times with women, it's who we are in comparison to someone else. Are we someone's wife? Are we someone's mom? And then once, you know, the kids are out of the house, it's almost like, well, what do they expect women to do? Just wither away. You know, they don't focus on women after a certain point and really show a well-rounded, you know what I mean, life for women. You know, they focus, like you said, young women, and especially, you know, and one of the other things is that television is saving us right now because there's so much TV, so there are more roles to be
a lot of
had,
content.
but if we were depending on film, they same people over and over again, and certainly not women of a certain age. You know, that's not the focus at all.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons why I created Hey Lady was really because I wanted women over 40 I wanted to be able to highlight women over 40, you know, to show us that we're just not all monolithic. We're not all the same. You know, some of us aren't mothers, you know, and when you see commercials, that's typically what you see. You see a woman over 40, she's a soccer mom, if that's it, you know? And so for me, I wanted to be able to show and highlight women from diverse backgrounds and diverse careers, really not just living, but thriving. You know, and I just think that Hollywood gets to a point where it's like you reach 40, they kind of like put you out to pasture. You know,
put that away.
But you've been lucky. You know, but you've been lucky to still work, you know, and have a great career, Johari. You know, and to your point, it's because you've been able to pivot, you know, to other roles. You know?
Yeah, where I used to play the ingenue, now I play the cougar. That's okay. Oh, it's all right.
Nothing wrong with the cougar, honey.
Nothing wrong with that. But
there's a check that comes along with being a cougar too, so it's all good. It's all good. So let me ask you this: why do you think it's easy to see a man in his 60s play the leading role, right? And then he has the girl who's usually 20, 30 years younger than him than it is for the reverse? Why do you think that is?
Well, it's because men run the business. It's, you know, women, there are some women in power positions, but generally it is still men in the power positions and green lighting these things. And also some of the men, if they are in that, let's say it's their TV show and they have some sort of cachet and some sort of power there, and maybe they have a producing credit, they're going to have a say so in who gets cast. And they have also, it's you can find it in society also, and I'm sure you've heard the term, and I won't say it out loud, but you know, is she effable? That is a test. There are real meetings that go on if a woman, seriously,
for casting, you're saying. So when they're doing their casting, you're kind of
cast and how attractive. They don't necessarily do that for men,
right?
But for women, it's still important of how we present ourselves. Absolutely.
Yeah, because he can be old, withered, wrinkled, gray hair, pot belly, the whole
I don't want to call no names. I don't want to call
no, we won't call any names. No, we won't do that. But it's just, you're like, really? And then, you know, he gets the hot girl, you know, and it's like, come on, you know, we keep seeing the same thing over and over
again.
So
I think as women also, because sometimes, and I say, you know, it's men in power making these decisions, but also, and we hear this all the time, that women have to come together. Sometimes women, and people listen to the comments and everything like that. You know, the viewer does have power. If women are out there being careful. I don't know why she seems like she put on weight, or I don't know, la 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 la. We got to be a little kinder to our sisters. You know what I mean? And support them. If we want to see something else, say that and support that.
Yeah, but the problem is that the roles are far and few in between. And so what one person won't do, another will show up, honey, and will, not even bat an eye. Right?
I backed out of a project because I didn't want y'all to see me out here like that.
Right.
It took them about 2 hours to release me and find somebody else who would do it.
Yeah.
So
there's always somebody. And it's funny because like I said, I go back to when I was auditioning, when I first came out to LA. And I remember going in, and sometimes I audition and somebody would be like on the phone. I didn't have the undivided attention, and it's like, you're like standing there like, really? But you just feel so powerless sometimes, in those settings. So
and it's shocking also. You don't expect
absolutely
to be that unprofessional.
Absolutely. So how do you deal with that? Have you ever come across any of that?
Oh, absolutely. I've walked out of auditions before, but generally I try to stick with it and be really professional. I've had the experience where obviously this one director did not want me, but the client did, and he wound up yelling at me and something, and I was just I was very calm, and he was like, "Stop saying I'm sorry," and I'm like, that's the line. I'm saying the line. I know I'm acting so fast.
Hilarious.
Just think
wait, so he couldn't differentiate between the two.
But he was like, stop. So I'm like, I'm saying the line. And so then I look to the client and I'm like, is there something else you'd like me to say?
Right.
Didn't book it. Wound up booking with same group and same director about a year later. Who knows what was going on there and that thing. But you have to stay professional.
So have you ever auditioned for a role, didn't get the role because somebody younger got it? Has that happened to you?
I will say this. Generally, if you are in the room, they expect you to be there. So it's not, I've certainly seen things like, oh, they went a completely different way. As a matter of fact, there was a commercial where I saw that they went younger with the couple. That's just a choice. That's just a choice. But I do know at a certain point, and I know actresses, they get feedback if they're going out for something, and people do not spare your feelings. That their reps will be like, yeah, they thought you were too old. They want just straight out.
Wow.
And you just have to, deal with that. I think the way around it, and that's why you see a lot of actors who have their own production companies, because they have to produce for themselves.
Absolutely.
It's really hard to have your career in the hands of other people,
right?
At that whim.
Which is why you're doing the producing, the directing, all of that, So as I'm sure COVID, has shown you that you definitely need to have multiple streams of income, right? So
sure.
how are you managing all this right now, especially when they shut the studios down? Like, what did you do?
Here's the thing. It shut down for a while, especially at the beginning of COVID. Everything was done. No one knew what to expect. Little did we know, like, right now I have like lights, I have like a ring light. Thank God I got everything together right before COVID, because I had been going to like studios to like, because I didn't want to do all that. I would rather pay somebody and they edit and they send in my auditions and stuff like that. Little did we know that this was going to be the only game in town. So thank God I had all of my equipment ready to go. They were actually for all of the commercials, they were doing commercials in your home. You were going to have to shoot it in your house. I don't know if you remember
Really?
some of the commercials that were coming out during that time, and it was all like during Zoom and looking in the
Right,
camera.
right,
People
right.
were shooting that in their home. They wanted to
Wow.
know if you were married, if you had a roommate that they could pay to shoot the commercials. It was wild, girl. Like that,
Wow.
it became, and it still is now with a lot of the auditions where they're virtual, where just like you and I are like this, it's a little different because it's not on IG, but I'm here, the casting director is there, the director, you know what I mean? Depending on, they're
Right.
giving you directions. Like you have like straight up callbacks and auditions in your living room.
Wow.
And, you know, they decided that in Los Angeles, that the entertainment industry, that we were necessary.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
So, and I think, oh yeah. So it was still up and running. And I think also because, you know, LA, that's our export, is Hollywood. Like you
right.
shut down, you really shut it down, how, you know, everybody will tank. So we kept it going. So I was able to work. I was just on 911 Lone Star. I shot that
Yes. Hmm.
during COVID. There's something else that I shot that I can't talk about. I would love to talk about it, but
You did The
shot
Young and the
it.
Restless too, right?
That was before COVID.
That was before COVID.
That
Okay. I
was
remember
before
seeing that.
COVID.
I remember seeing that.
But the same thing with the mask, and it puts a whole nother level on it
Mm.
with all the testing and all the masks, and you're not supposed to eat or drink, on set, and all kind.
Wow.
People aren't, supposed to touch you, but yet, so now you're trying to do your own mics during the thing. It's a lot, but I am
Wow.
thankful to be working. I'm thankful that that's still a possibility. And that's why I really took COVID very seriously, because I wanted to work.
Right. No, that is amazing. So
Yeah.
listen, okay, so I think that Sharon Stone, she didn't get her big break until after she was 40 years old,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
Johari, there's a woman who's thinking about getting into the business. She's over
Yeah.
40.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to her?
Okay. I would say get a coach and get a mentor. And I'm
Mm.
going to suggest someone. There's a woman by the name of Christine Horn,
Okay, hold
who
on.
is a,
I hope you
yeah.
guys have your pen and paper. Make sure you're writing this down for those of you that are interested. Get your little notebooks out.
And you can
Okay.
find her on IG.
What's her name again?
Christine
Uh-huh.
Horn.
Okay.
HORN.
Okay.
She is a working actress. You've seen her in so many things, but she is also a fantastic coach. And she has several different groups, and one of them is called Hollywood Bound Actors, because
Hollywood
you don't
Bound.
need to, Hollywood Bound Actors, you
Okay.
do not need to reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel, please.
Mm-hmm.
She's got it set up for you to understand the business, to understand your brand, to understand self-tapes. You know what I mean? How
Mm-hmm.
to contact casting directors. And there are other people. Maybe I don't know why Christine would not resonate with you, because she's fantastic. But
Mm-hmm.
find someone. Find someone who can guide you through, or else it's too hard. You don't try to figure it all out by yourself. Get
Okay.
a team. Get a
You just
group.
mentioned two things real quick. You said understanding the business
Mm-hmm.
and understanding your brand.
Yes, understanding how you present yourself. Now, we actors, we want to play everything. My
Okay.
good friend Stacey Lynn Fletcher, who just joined. Oh, that's
Hi, Stacy.
hilarious. This is great. Hey, Stacey.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey and I, we met doing a play back in Chicago, and we were playing teenagers, the Fassy Tales. So that lets you know how long when we were playing teens.
Girl, that was just 10 years ago. What
Just,
you talking about?
so Stacey and I used to have a joke and say, give us a cup of coffee, we can play the baby Jesus. We want to play everything, right?
Right, right.
But honestly, you need to figure out how you present yourself, what you are most easily cast as, and then you can branch out from there. Like find your niche,
Mm.
you know? and then you can grow. Once you get your break, you can move on from there. Mm-hmm. But you'll save so much time. You don't need to have a million freaking headshots, you know. Mm-hmm. Target.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, most people don't think, most people, when you think of being an actor, you know, there's a bit of, you know, I can do it all that goes into it. But to your point, you find your lane and ride that lane out. No, I love that, Johari. That's really good. Yeah. So let me ask you this. So what has changed? What is the biggest change that you've seen since you started to where you are now?
Oh, wow. Oh, well, and this, I'm getting goosebumps about it. Just the way content creation has changed. If you can get a project going and get an audience, you can make something happen. That didn't used to be the case. With social media, now in some ways it's not the best, like literally they will be doing casting off of your social media. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're a fantastic actor. They just want to know that you have a fan base that will come with you and you can bring eyes to the project. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. But if you want to create something for yourself, there is an avenue. Look at Issa Rae.
Right.
Right? You know,
bingo.
Like, and people do that often. They will be looking for something to turn into something. Like you have an avenue now, where before it was all about, please pick me. Right. Right.
Okay,
yeah.
so
that's the biggest change.
So speaking about that avenue, you have a YouTube channel. Can you tell everybody what your YouTube channel is?
Just Google Johari Johnson, Show Pony Entertainment. If you want to laugh, lots of spoofs. It's me being silly, things that I have written, directed, produced, and directed. Yeah, and it's great stuff. I'm you know.
No.
If you want to see me being Whitney Houston.
That's what I was going to say. I know you do some impersonations, so could you maybe indulge us this evening? I'd like to hear a little Whitney, a little Mariah, a little, you know, somebody.
A little Whitney. I only fake the acting. Trust me, you don't want to hear me singing. I got a little scandal there, a little scandal spoof. Okay. Tiny and Toya got a little Nicki Minaj going on there. Okay. Yeah, and that's what I want to get more back into, and I've been working on during the shutdown, is writing more and content creation. I have some things that I would like to sell for myself and for others.
Okay. So basically what she's saying, everybody, you're going to have to go over to her YouTube channel if you want to see all that.
Give me some views.
Right. Give her some views. Give us some subscribers and give her some likes, and then you can see all that. So I'm not mad at you for that. Okay. So a couple of questions before we wrap up that I always ask everyone. My two questions are, what is the best advice ever given to you?
Okay. Well, this is advice that I have given to myself, right? And I think a lot of times people say, you know, with age comes wisdom. I don't know if it's wisdom so much as that you have seen things play out, so you know what to expect. This is what I've learned. It has nothing to do with acting. You have to know what your friends are good for. Now that sounds like, yeah, I know. It sounds horrible, right? That sounds like very misery. No. You have to know that you might have a friend that is wonderful to go to dinner and catch a movie with, but you would never travel with them.
Oh, girl, let's talk about that.
See,
no, you can't travel with everybody. Yes.
You are the travel queen. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes. You might have a friend that you would never talk to about relationship stuff because it's always going to be negative, but they give fantastic financial advice. Wow. You know, and you have to be there for them, giving the best that you can of yourself, but know what your friends, the people that you surround yourself with, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, because then you won't be disappointed. You won't be expecting people to do something that they don't have the ability to do. And
I
you won't
love
get
that.
yourself in situations that are unnecessary. So figure out what they are good for and stick with that. You'll save yourself a lot of tears, a
A
lot
lot
of
of
angst,
heartache.
and you will keep
Yes.
that friendship.
And you save yourself the disappointment. I like that.
Right?
Know what your friends are good
Are good
for.
for.
Oh, that's great. I love that. It's simple, but so true.
It's
So
so
true.
true. It's so true.
Okay, so last question, and then I'm going to see if anybody in the audience has any questions for you.
Okay.
Your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is by Rumi, and it is, "What you seek is seeking you."
All right, Mr. Johari, I know you was going to go all deep on me right now, but okay, what you seek is seeking you.
And I love that quote because for me, it gets me out of chasing and into receiving and accepting.
Girl. All right, Miss Thing. All right. Okay, so let's see real quick if anybody in the audience has any questions for Miss Johari. Come on,
Let's
guys.
see.
This is free. She's here. She's been in the game. Look, they're not paying for it. She's been in the game for a long time. So if there's anybody out there that has any questions for Miss Johari, speak now or forever hold your peace. And let me see who's in here, Johari. You have quite a few people that have joined this live this evening. Let's see, Light DIR 585 said you're very professional. Chris Fab, okay, let me spell it out. Chris
Fabregas.
Yes. Okay.
That
He says,
he's a wonderful photographer. Some of the headshots that you've seen, he has done for me. It's fantastic.
All right, everybody. So go follow Chris, F as in Frank, A, B as in Bravo, REGAS. Go check out his work. He says he loves your work, Johari.
Chris Fab. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, honey.
Shayla underscore Keelis or Kellis. She says, typical Johari, LOL, always calm and collected. And you know what, Johari, you really are. I've known you for many years, Johari, and I don't think that I've ever seen you raise your voice. I don't think that I've ever seen you just come out of character. You know, so that just speaks to the essence of who you are as a person.
Thank
you know, and like I said, in all those years that I've known you,
You've never seen me pop off?
No, I've never seen you pop off. Always a lady. Always a lady. Okay, everybody, since nobody has any questions in here. Oh, hold on. Acts of Faith. She said, hey, Johari, it's Shania, aka Toya.
It's
Hi,
Shania. Shania, if you look at the spoof, the Tiny and Toya spoof trying to talk, Shania played Toya. We had a wonderful time. We got lots of views. And actually, Toya actually shouted us out like they really enjoyed it. They, you know, we were poking fun, but in a very nice way.
I'm definitely going over to your YouTube channel and check all this content out, girl. Look, Light DIR 585 wants to know, who's your favorite gaffer? Is he a gaffer? She a gaffer?
Must be.
Right. Right. Because that's such a random question. Too funny. Hilarious. So listen, real quick. So my mother, who's on this live, she's in her 60s. Johari, I want you to give her some advice. She wants to start a podcast. All right?
Okay.
And I tell my mom that, to your point about having a niche market and understanding who your audience is. So can you just drive home that point? One. Number two, I think oftentimes she overthinks things. Like she's feeling like she needs to have every episode.
Everything in place.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Yeah. And I'm like, sometimes it'll come naturally to you, you know? So can you just talk to her real quick about those two things, Johari?
Well, I think knowing, what's your mom's name?
Imani.
First of all, you need take a look at what interests you, what your passion is, what you know most about, right? So if you're an expert in something, or something that you have a curiosity about and want to learn about, start with that. Just kind of write all of those things down. And then from there, that's where you're gonna go. If you're an expert in something and you want to share and you want to talk to people about that, and invite other people in, or if you're curious about something where you can invite other experts, and if you have a genuine curiosity for that and you invite people in, people will learn along with you. That's it. And if you think about what you want to give, generally, if you have a podcast, you want to give to people, you want to share with people, think about the tone that you want to hit with those things. Is it comedy? Is it serious? Is it spiritual? Do a little more self-reflection. You don't have to have everything in place. Like I said, if you just kind of brainstorm, write it all down first thing in the morning, it'll come to you. If you open yourself up to it, I promise you, the answers will come.
I love that. Thank you so much, Johari. All right, Miss Girlfriend, before we get out of here, I want to toast it to you. And I am looking forward to all of the wonderful and exciting things that you have coming up, Johari. You're such a blessing. You really are.
Well, back at you. Listen to all of my friends. If you do not follow this woman and all of her escapades, I mean, it doesn't get more fabulous.
That's what they are, escapades.
And this, it is escapades.
For sure.
It's never boring. It's always entertaining. She always looks gorgeous doing it. Like I said, just looking at the giraffes and the water buffaloes go by.
Hilarious. Girl, that was an experience. So again, let's toast it up. Clink, 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 clink.
Clink, clink, clink.
But what was that? Your vitamin? What is that you said you're drinking?
This is Alpha Brain Instant Memory Focus. Girl, I got to remember these lines.
Wow. So, Alpha Brain. I cannot. Okay, wait. Plug that again. Plug it again, because there's somebody on here that really needs that.
It's not cheap, and it tastes like poison, but it works. It's Alpha Brain Instant Memory Focus. Oh, and I really do feel
I need that. I need that in my life. Look, Alpha Brain, I got it.
Instant memory focus. I've got it in the peach flavor.
All right, everyone. To find out more about Miss Johari Johnson, please visit my website at heyladybytanya.com. You can read her resume with all her acting credits. Guys, make sure you go over to her YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button.
Follow my Instagram.
Follow her Instagram as well, Johari. Yeah. Anything else you want these people to know that you got going on? I know you said there's some projects that you can't talk about right now, but what do you have that's out right now?
Vibes so things start airing. Yeah, that'll help. That'll help.
I got you. Good vibes headed your way, all the way from Tanzania.
Love you so much.
Love you too, Johari. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, okay?
Okay. Now, all right. Good morning to you.
Have a girl, good morning. It's 4:40. Look, first of all, it's just pitch black dark outside. Girl. But yes, it's 4:40 a.m. and I'm going back to bed for a couple hours.
You should. Just
I will talk to you later, Johari. Thank you so much. All right?
Love you.
All right. Love you too, girl. Bye. Isn't she amazing? Oh my gosh. I told you guys, I am super committed to bringing you all some phenomenal women, even at 4:41 a.m. in the morning in Africa. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm up here looking like Miss Cleo right now. But this African heat is so disrespectful to these little tiny strands of hair. So gotta make it do what it do. Hey guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another edition of Wind Down Wednesday with my Lady of the Week, actress, director, producer, Miss Johari Johnson. Make sure you guys check out her YouTube channel. As she said, you can Google Johari Johnson and see all the exciting things that she has coming out. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks as I'm traveling back to the States next week on Wednesday for another edition of Wind Down Wednesday with my Lady of the Week. Until then, guys, you know the drill. Being a lady never goes out of style. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Bye. Yeah, I need to get some sleep. I'm too hyped right now. I don't know if I can go to bed, but I'll see y'all later. Bye.